World of YouTube. Here again with another tale. True story. Very, very twisted. Very, very mind-boggling. And I advise you right now, warning that if you cannot stomach disturbing images, I advise you not to watch. The story is just disturbing as the images. But I feel that everybody should watch this and never forget, for one, and two, stories like this I like to keep, even though it has a bunch of them out there of their own. I like to give my own thoughts and theories. I like to give my own input. And not only because of the simple fact that, articles are out there or what I read, but due to the fact when I look at something, especially the images I'm going to show, I have my own thoughts, theories, and, how can I say? I have my own thoughts about what happened with the images that people might have missed. So correct, don't get me wrong or anything. I'm not saying all this happened or what I'm gonna say is true or what I'm gonna say, is positive, but because I'm not a real detective, but when I see things and learn about things and take things from what I've watched over here to put them with things like that over there, kind of makes sense in the end if you think about it. This story starts off in the year 1957. Young boy, no name unknown. All they know is him as is the boy in the box. And I came across this story due to a lot of researching on missing children and blah blah blah, untold, unsolved cases, and he came up. And this one is very touching to me. This is something that, like I said, if you're faint of heart, you don't want to watch it. But you know what? I think you should watch it because the monsters dwell amongst us. And people that live in that fantasy world, I heard it on the news again, just with the simple fact this morning of teenagers going to paint over a rainbow sidewalk they did at a school. And you got the people out there, I never thought this would happen in our town. Never thought this would happen. No, these people need to wake up to reality. That really irks me when people say, I never thought this could have happened in our town. I even heard a police officer say it in one town. It's a small town. Everybody knows each other here. Could never imagine it happening here, but it did. You want to know why? Because it doesn't matter where you live or where you dwell or where you set your mind if you're going to live safe. You're not going to be safe. Because them sick, demented people out there roam. If they want to roam out there in the suburbs, out in the woods where people think they're safe, they're gonna roam. They don't give a rat's ass of where they roam. And that being said, this story here, very, very emotionally touching. Original images of the boy in the box. His hair was cut. His face looks battered and bruised. His body had 3 surgical precisions in it. But me, honestly, what I think happened to this boy, I believe he was put in an asylum. And the only reason why I mention that is these scars on his face and his little tough to see, but if you can get on this and see it right up below his eye. Let me tell you something. Check out the movie Francis Farmer. Check out the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. 2 movies about the asylum. And Francis Farmer, famous movie actress. I was supposed to do a thing on her too, but I gotta gather up all my information on that yet. I did watch the whole movie, and that poor woman endured very, very bad life of men, which led her to her insanity, which led her to why I say asylum, because she made it there. Now, and that was a true story, and there I have a video up. I have a video up from that movie, a scene from that movie about lobotomy. It should be titled Lobotomy. And they show you how they do it. And that's why I look at this picture here and say, I believe this kid had a lobotomy done to him. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I say this movie because they show you how they do electric shock treatment. Alright? And that's where I get them little marks on the little boys near the temple of his head up there that I showed in the picture. So 2 movies that show you 2 different things of what Asylum used to do. Asylums roamed up and came about in the early 1800s. And like I say in a lot of my videos, if you were diagnosed with a simple seizure, if you were diagnosed probably like this boy with a deformed head, looking just all deformed, and like I read in this new article that was not even in the old article when I get to that this boy was mentally handicapped, that he couldn't speak. Now they say the woman that says this is was never irrelevant. They never had no evidence and proof, but she claimed that she went to the police to tell them about her mother. This was her brother, and due to the fact that he couldn't talk and he had mental issues, he did something wrong one day. I forgot what it was, but she beat him severely, and I believe brought him to what was not mentioned in the first article. Like I said, these are the 2 things now, right off to a foster home. And the police claim that this foster parent, a gentleman, I shouldn't even call him a gentleman, a scumbag piece of shit, beat this child. So that leads me to believe that after this person got a hold of him, he went off to the asylum. Because what kind of person that has no experience back in them days, 1957, we're talking, to deal with people with this, right to the asylum. Zoop! No questions asked, no diagnosis. Boy's deformed, boy can't talk, boy looks at me stupid, boy dropped this, boy don't, accomplish nothing, to the asylum. And man, this is where it brings me to when these boys and children like this, or even innocent little children that just can't speak, and they get swiped up, killed, murdered, even to this fucking day, that drives me crazy. I mean, I show tough love to my kids, but only for certain reasons like this. That one day you're gonna be on your own, boy. One day I might die instantly. One day I might not be here. And you have to deal with these monsters that live in this fucking world. And I try to teach my kids tough love. That's right, they get my tough love only because of stories like this. They call me assholes. They say they hate my guts. You know what? That ain't even the issue. Ain't even the issue. Because when boys like this happen, like this, and I can visualize my children, I can visualize all these kids that, what could have happened to him, and I see him on the fucking news and da-da-da-da. It's like, wow, just imagine what they were thinking. Them little lost souls that can't defend themselves, can't even speak like this one. And like I said, I think something happened to him. He went through a lobotomy. He had the electric shock done to him up there in the brain. And as you see, like I said, right under that left eye, man, in the lobotomy, you take an ice pick thing, long ice pick. It looks like an ice pick, or an awl. If you see a long awl that mechanics use or carpenters use, jab it right in the bottom of your eye, wiggle it around at the top of your brain, scrape it, and there you have it. More mental damage done to you. Sick. Demented. So when they found out they couldn't fix this, and they say in the second article that I didn't read in the first one that they supposedly beat the body of the child and broke some bones or something. I think the skull was, damaged. Because, right, they did a lobotomy. He must have been screaming, kicking, or whatever. He must have flicked and tweaked out. And they beat him to death, and they stuck him in a box, drove him down the side of the road in Philadelphia, and left him there. It was like 2-3 days or something, they say in the second article. They found him, a boy or something, or a teenager, had some illegal musket traps or bear traps or some type of trap that was illegal at the time there, and he thought the boy might have got caught up in it. So he didn't even tell the authorities when he went there. That was in the first article I read. But then another person came along and found him there, and then they swiped him up. And that's that. So, I mean, whoever this person was, and like I said, the only thing they look at in this story was the foster parent, which, don't get me wrong, he probably had something to do with it, but I think he said it, where there was surgically scars, I don't think this guy was a surgeon. I think he brought him to a friggin' asylum, or maybe even a smaller clinic, hospital, maybe, so say, which they did have them. There was one right in the town of my town of Air, Mass. Very small place, but they had it. Asylum. And a boy actually ran out of there and drowned him right in my backyard when I lived there. Right in my backyard. That ghost of that kid came to me before I left that house. Had a dream, visited me in my dream. I got videos of that weird dream revealed, and crazy shit. But that's what I think happened to this kid. I think he was at that foster home. The mother gave up on him. The foster parent probably just kicked him, beat him around to the point where he said, get out of here, bring him to the asylum. There's something wrong with him. They didn't know, they couldn't tell, because right, he had mental issues. Whatever his mother did, drugs, boozing back then, smoking, whatever, prostitution, but you know, all the crazy shit they do back in them times, 57. Give up. Who knows? And there he ended up. Now they can never tell who he is. The DNA they found in the tooth in 1998 they couldn't do because it was way too small, but the boy, he didn't even have an identity. That's how sad this story is. And then it sucks to say you don't know where he was murdered, because I would have loved to go there and try and do a reading, a ghost thing, or even get a person in there, or psychic, as they do work. But like I say, as insane as this story is, man, I have to keep this. I have to keep this going for him. And like I say, it's just sad. And the kid looked like a playful little joyful person. You know, tears and chokes me up just looking at him. Actual pictures. In some ways, I don't like to say this, but this one over here, I can tell you right now, and the side view, both side views, man. If his head was more rounder, oh my God, he resembles my son my youngest son. Maybe that's why I'm so attached to this story. Because of the visions that I see. And I had a dream of my youngest son. Something tragically happened to him. I hope it don't. It hasn't yet. Because he is the very type that will take his mind and just be... He's that one that runs right out in the traffic without thinking. That ball's going in the traffic. He not thinking. He'll run right after it. Happened, already did, and almost get hit. You know, I'm constantly on that kid every day. And this picture right here just reminds me of him. Looks like the side view of him. And it's like, my eyes twitch. And I just try and get these visions. I got a photographic memory, man, and it sucks. Sometimes it's good. Other times it sucks because I visualize this stuff and I can just imagine what this kid went through. Pain, suffering, beaten, lobotomy. I think he went through a lobotomy, the shock treatment, everything. So, oh man, I would love to save all these children that are missing or don't have justice served, but at least I can make a video of him and keep his story going along with all the others. And just to let you kids know out there, if you do watch my videos, here's a lesson learned. Beware, because this could be you. Lesson learned. Listen to your parents, if they're good ones. If they're bad ones, and there's bad ones out there, don't get me wrong. Get help. Go somewhere. Get help. You don't want to be like this child and have a mother just give up on you because you have mental issues. Get help. If you can understand me, get help. Anybody else, man, just... And if you have a good relationship with your parents or you're a little defiant towards them, you know what? Get it out of your ass and get it out of your head. Listen. Because stuff like this has been going on since the dawn of time. It's sick, man, and it makes me sick. I like to take all these people that done this to children and do every little bit and piece that they did to them and do it to them. Oh, I would be in my glory if I could do something like this to the person that did it to that child, man. I am an evil person, but in a good way. Because I'll tell you right now, the people that did this to this child, and if they were still alive, which I'm sure they're all dead, oh man, I'd hang them by the tree, and well, I'll let your imagination run wild. Anyways, other than that, world of YouTube, another video down with sad story. If you want to look it up more, it is The Boy in the Box. Till the next video, everyone be safe. Take care. Unless y'all rotten people and do this to kids, go drop dead. Alright. Out.